Kent Hovind.
The rock music these days is all full of death and destruction and blood. Well, the Bible says they that hate me love death.
There are certain activities, like especially homosexuality, that are very high rate of disease.
Maybe Bill Clinton should decide right from wrong.
God said, when they do this, you execute them. Solves the problem. They're gone. But we're not to take the law into our own hands. That's a government job. If they don't want to do it, well, I guess you're kind of stuck. But I can tell you the Bible clearly teaches what you should do.
And witchcraft. Those, according to the Bible, are death sentences.
That's not politically correct.
Do you have a clean heart? Oh, back there. Did your husband come? What happens when you disobey Daddy? Is your heart right with God?
He said, whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, he were drowned in the depth of the sea. You probably didn't hear about this, but the kids at Columbine High School that shot everybody, were very strong believers in evolution. This was evolution-motivated shooting.
I speak about 900 times a year now on the subject of creation, evolution, and dinosaurs. One of Satan's favorite tools to use is dinosaurs, because kids love them.
I think Leviathan is probably Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't know, I can't prove this, but I've read it many times and it seems to fit.
And I take the position that the Bible is literally true and scientifically accurate. And the evolution theory being taught in our schools in violation of the First Amendment is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of planet Earth.
I mean, maybe Osama bin Laden should decide right from wrong, huh?
No dumber idea ever.
Is your heart right with God?
If we would continually eliminate, execute people that do see certain crimes, we would gradually get a much better society.
Kent Hovind is a Baptist evangelist who has spent the majority of his life preaching and debating creationist science.
I'm probably the most hated man on the internet.
His major points of focus include dinosaurs, young Earth creation, the geological column, and government influence on education. Kent is a notable figure in the sovereign citizen movement, and he is so sovereign that he served 9 years in prison on 58 counts of tax fraud. At one time, Kent also offered a $250,000 challenge to anyone that could provide empirical evidence for the theory of evolution. The challenge is no longer active, and the prize money was never paid out. Go figure. Hovind's criminal history doesn't stop with tax fraud, and in 2021 he served another 30 days in jail for domestic violence. Kent uses the title of doctor, referring to himself as Dr. Dino or Dr. Hovind, but it is important to note that his degree in Christian education from Patriot Bible University is not accredited in any way. Furthermore, it is worth noting that Patriot Bible University's president, Wayne Knight, was charged with failing to report child abuse in 2011, resulting in the building's closure. This is worth noting because in present-day debates, Hovind has a habit of calling his opponents child abusers for teaching evolution to children.
If you're destroying children's faith using something proven wrong 140 years ago, so you might be a child abuser.
In 2019, Kent Hovind purposefully arranged to have a child who was not yet a teenager spend the night with Chris Jones, a 55-year-old convicted predator. Initially, I speculated that Kent was projecting his guilt onto others, but as I furthered my research, I realized Kent Hovind doesn't feel anything. No empathy, no guilt, no remorse. My name is Steve, and this is my totally not creepy van. Ignore your survival instincts and hop in the back. This one's gonna take us on a trip. Despite the controversy surrounding Kent Hovind, he still holds a significant audience and a far more acceptable public image than he deserves. While there is content covering his deplorable actions, searching Kent's name still results in his numerous seminars, leaving a somewhat positive to neutral impression at a glance. And due to public support that he continues to receive even to this day, it would be easy for somebody to assume that the detractors and controversy surrounding him only exist because of his religious views. Some of you listening right now may disagree with my take on this, but I feel it is necessary to demand better from Kent's audience. There is so much verifiable, factual information in today's world, One must be willfully ignorant to seek out the lies that Kent tells. A person is still a victim even if they were warned beforehand, but that warning does place some accountability back on the audience. It should be no surprise to his audience that the liar they sought out turned out to be a bad person. Kent's audience began to shrink in 2006 when he was convicted on 58 counts of tax fraud.
Your job is to do what's right. God's job is to take care of the money.
The following information regarding Kent's interactions with the IRS has been sourced from an article written by Michael Biratovich on ebsco.com. In 1996, the IRS began trying to collect taxes spanning 6 years. Kent responded by filing bankruptcy and a petition stating all his belongings were owned by God, therefore not subject to taxation. The court rejected his petition and ordered him to pay roughly $26,000 back to the IRS, offering him a 60-month payment plan.
Satan uses those who have lots of money. They seem to fall into his trap more easily of, hey, follow me and I'll give you the kingdom. They have a lot of money, now they want it all.
2 years later, Kent revoked his signature on the agreement he made with the IRS in addition to his U.S. citizenship, declaring himself a natural citizen of America. This is the same thing as a sovereign citizen in today's terms.
Well, you're going to look like a real idiot when talking to anybody with normal intelligence when you say something like that, okay?
In 2002, Kent tried to sue the IRS for harassment, and the IRS continued to let him dig his own grave. In 2004, the IRS raided Kent's home and uncovered over $1 million he had been hoarding tax-free. In 2006, Kent was sentenced to 10 years in prison on 58 counts of tax fraud, including 1 count of interfering with an IRS investigation for the harassment lawsuit he filed. He served 9. In addition to his prison sentence, Kent was also ordered to pay back over $1 million in restitution and legal fees. In the wake of his trial, Kent's public image was severely damaged due to his demeanor throughout the case, mainly due to his continued refusal to recognize the government's authority to collect taxes. Kent's anti-government sentiment is rooted far deeper than his disdain for taxes. Kent believes the U.S. government is a New World Order made up of Satan worshippers that are determined to reduce the global population to about 500 million. Kent's belief in the New World Order is as dangerous as it is ridiculous.
A one world government, a new world order. How this evolution theory, actually it's a philosophy, it is the foundation philosophy for communism, Marxism, Nazism, and the New World Order. How does this philosophy tie into Satan's plan to rule the world? That's what we want to cover tonight. The upside-down 5-pointed star. That's the symbol of the Satan worshipers, those that worship Lucifer. Did you know there's a large percentage of the population that worships Lucifer? The goat. Lucifer is worshipped by many people in our government. They're pretty quiet about it. The tip of the bottom star is the White House in Washington, D.C. Folks, we have been so deceived.
Welcome to Kent's stupid theme park, Dinosaur Adventure Land. While Kent was busy telling everyone that the US government was Satan, the actual devil, seen on screen, was using Kent's theme park as his own personal hell on earth. Dinosaur Adventure Land accepts help from volunteers, and said volunteers sometimes live on park grounds. Chris Jones began making residents of the park uncomfortable with behaviors such as drug abuse, theft, and animal cruelty. Furthermore, a decade prior to his stay at Dinosaur Adventure Land, Chris Jones was convicted of battery and lewd acts involving minors. Kent Hovind was 100% aware of these charges and still arranged for Jones to spend the night with an unrelated child in a one-bed cabin on Dinosaur Adventureland property. The humanoid bipedal oxygen thief Chris Jones did exactly what everybody was expecting, and in 2023 was arrested for the incident in question. Hovind fell under heavy scrutiny by fellow residents and the press following the incident. Hovind's statements are so dismissive and hypocritical, they shatter the very tenets he used to preach.
Number 3, encourage civil disorders and a soft government attitude toward crime. They've got a new thing now called 3 strikes and you're out. How about 1 strike and you're out?
Kent is able to dismiss and defend Jones's behavior due to his delusions in the New World Order. Kent and Jones expect the world to believe that their criminal cases are the result of Jones spying on the New World Order at Bohemian Grove in California and giving some footage he filmed to InfoWars. When questioned about Jones's background, Kent stated, "I've known Chris for many years. He gets accused of things all the time, but everybody gets their day in court. I don't know the details on those charges yet, but I would doubt he's guilty." Shut the fuck up. Real kids were hurt, Kent. Your silly little fantasy was laughable until you used it as a weapon against defenseless, innocent people. Check out this photo of Kent Hovind being picked up from prison by the Duggars. Birds of a feather should have a millstone hung around their neck. The last thing I need to touch on before we declare the dinosaur Kent Hovind officially extinct is the domestic abuse case from 2020. According to court records and the Mobile Real-Time News in Alabama, Kent Hovind threw his wife Cindy to the ground, causing her bodily injury. Cindy didn't report the incident right away due to Kent allegedly making threats on her life if she didn't stay quiet. These threats went as far as Kent sending an associate to Cindy's house to trash her property and threaten her with a gun. Cindy is quoted saying, "I fear he will kill me to shut me up." I'm sure you would terrorize women and children regardless, but that kind of bullshit behavior only buys you so much time, Kent. Threats won't get anything done here. You're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is if you want me to shut up. Now that you have the facts about the case, I'm going to present Kent's version of how things occurred that day. I'm going to allow his full explanation before offering my take on it.
3 years ago today is the famous day that changed everybody's lives, especially mine around here. My ex-wife, Cindy Lincoln, came out of this bedroom where she'd been sleeping about 60% of the time for the last 6 months. We were married for 3 years, had a wonderful marriage at first, and then something changed. I think she changed, but she thinks I did. Anyway, she came out. She had been texting me all night with a bunch of questions. When are you going to do this? Who's going to do this? And, trying to, I think, just basically run me and run the ministry. So she came out of the bedroom. It's only a 2-bedroom house, kitchen in the middle, bedroom at each end. And I came out of that bedroom with my lawyer had told me when she starts going crazy, you have to record it. So Cindy came out and stood here and said, "Are you going to answer all my texts?" So I came out of the other bedroom like this and said, "I'd be glad to, but I need to record this." All right, so I walked out of our bedroom and said, "Cindy, I'll be glad to answer all of your questions, but my attorney has said I have to record these conversations." And so I sat down, got my phone, and said, let me start at the beginning, okay? About a week or two before this event, I had nearly broken my arm building the dining hall. One of the steel beams fell down, and I hit it on my wrist right here. Can you zoom in and see 3 years later, I still have the scar? And you might be able to find some of the videotapes from before October 26th, some of the old YouTube I did, with my arm bandaged up, okay? So I'm holding my phone, and I said, and we started the conversation. We will play the conversation on the video here and put the transcript beside it. We paid a court-authorized transcriber to transcribe the whole transaction, what happened. After a few minutes, I could see this is going nowhere, so I stood up and tried to make my way to the door over there, to get out of here. So I walked around her. She, I think, was sitting down. I don't remember. I got over this far, and she started screaming, "Give me that phone." And she used God's name in vain. You'll see the transcript. I was holding the phone like this, my damaged arm right here. Finally, near the end, she lunged at me to grab my phone, cursing and screaming. I simply pushed her to the side. She hit this shelf right here, which had little bells on it for Christmas or something. I forget. We got the bell somewhere. And she hit the ground. And she screamed and screamed. She was screaming out of frustration. She was not screaming because I body slammed her. I did not. You'll never hear any voice change or noise change with the phone. I'm holding it back here, trying to record this conversation. And I was simply protecting my property in self-defense. Now, we just counted yesterday. It's now been 3 years. She has over 700 anti-Kent Hovind videos on her little YouTube channel. She is stopping strangers at the store. People have come to me and said, "This lady stopped me and said, 'Do you live around here?' Yeah. Well, let me tell you about Kent Hovind." She's trying to taint the whole jury pool because we go to trial now, December 11th or 12th over this. It's going to be, I think the court's going to throw it out. It's going to be a joke, bad on her, because there was no body slam. So she dove for my phones. I pushed her out of the way. She hit the wall, hit the floor, jumped up screaming and yelling, and slammed these chairs down and broke the tile floor. Can you zoom in on that, brother? They're still broken. Let's see, this one, these two broken, this one broken. She slammed the chairs down and broke the floor. I said, Cindy, let me help you up. Twice I said that. You'll see it in the video. Let me help you up. I never yelled at her. I never hit her. I've never hit a woman in my life. Okay? And I helped her. She didn't want my help, I don't think. That went by so fast. So I just left. The next day, she asked our cook, Freddie, would you take me to the chiropractor in Pensacola? She'd already been going to the chiropractor in Pensacola for some time. And so on the way down there, she asked Freddie, should I tell the chiropractor I was body slammed just to get it in the record? And Freddie said, well, not if it didn't happen. But she did tell the chiropractor, and she said something to the effect, does this look like I was body slammed? He said, well, this could happen. How can a chiropractor tell that from a chiropractor? Anyway, so she is now claiming that the chiropractor said she was body slammed. She told him she was body slammed. She stayed here with me as wife and stayed in the other bedroom most of the time. But that same time, while she's screaming and yelling and banging the chairs down, Mark Stoney was here, living in the cabin about 100 yards away. He could hear her screaming and heard the loud bang when the chairs hit the floor. And according to his story on his channel and on comments on Cindy's channel, he went to get his gun. He's got a bunch of anti-Ken Hovind videos also, Mark Stoney does, on his channel. And so, without knowing the story at all of what's happening, and it's her fault, he would have come shot me probably, okay? So, I just left. End of story. Next day, she goes to the chiropractor, tells him that she was body slammed, and she was not. She stayed right here as husband and wife until February. Let's see, October, November, December, January. 3.5 months later, she moved out to one of the houses she owned over. She's still there, 5 miles away on Highway 41, right by Conecuh Village. So she moved out of her own free will. And I was glad, but I was a faithful husband. I've never touched a woman I wasn't married to. And she moved out. Then, 9 months after the event, she filed a complaint at the county sheriff that I body slammed her, and they had me arrested. Wasn't really arrested. I was already at the courthouse for something else, and the deputy said, hey, I got a warrant here. Would you come next door and let me get your fingerprints? So I was never handcuffed or arrested. But then the newspaper here in town, Lee Peacock, one of the writers for the Monroeville newspaper, wrote an article, local Baptist preacher arrested for domestic violence or something like that. So after this is over and I win the case, and it's turned out that I did not body slam her, I'd like everybody to contact Monroeville Journal and contact Lee Peacock and say, are you going to write a nice article about them now? He did not body slam his wife, and I did not. So those are the events of what happened 3 years ago today. I am focusing on the ministry mostly. She focuses completely on bash Kent Hovind. She's determined, I think, and others think, to taint the whole jury pool. So when they call for a jury, all the community already is turned against me. And boy, is she doing a good job at that. I stop at people's houses. Hey, I'm Kent Hovind. I know who you are. Get off my property. I don't know who you are. Why? I'm already judged. There's a lot of gossip going around. Have you seen that, Joseph? Yeah. It's from Cindy, mostly, doing this, trying to, I think, taint the jury pool ahead of time. So if you have any questions, call me. I've got nothing to hide. 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I'll answer any questions I've got. There was never a body slam. It was her screaming and yelling. You can watch the video yourself. Why did she wait 9 months to even file a complaint? Well, she's looking for money. All right, one more interesting bit of information here. Cindy had been going to the chiropractor for a long time. 1 week after this supposed body slam, she had a car accident. And then she sent us a bill for $2,500 for all of her chiropractor bills. A, it was a pre-existing condition. B, I did not body slam her. She jumped for my phone and fell down. Okay, I was protecting my property is all I was doing. And then she wants to give us the bill for the whole thing. This is all about money. One of the guys that used to work here named Stephen Bolin, B-O-W-L-I-N, helped Cindy edit all the videos that she made lots of videos about me. And he was on her side helping her edit all these videos. Finally, he listened to everything. He watched everything. He called me. He said, Kent, this woman's crazy. You didn't do anything wrong. I said, well, a lot of people think she's bipolar. She'll get mad when you say that, but I definitely think she's bipolar. Flip a switch. Anyway, so you can contact Steve Bolin, the Proverbs guy. He's now moved to Georgia, but he was living here for a long time. And he switched when he heard all the truth, he switched right back over to our side, said, I'll help you, Brother Hovind. Contact the Proverbs guy, Stephen Bolin, and see what he says about all this, because he was working with her side by side
editing these videos to make anti-Kent Hovind videos. So she's got chiropractor bills from her own car accident and from her own problems before. I had promised her I'd give her, our ministry would give her $1,300 a month as long as she was my wife, and we did. We even did for 5 months after she left. Kept paying her, but she's gone. The Bible says if the unbelieving depart, you're not in bondage. So that's when I prayed. I said, Lord, she left. What do I do? I said, Lord, I'm not going to go fishing, not going to go dating around. I want you to have a fish jump in the boat, whichever one you want. And I don't know what it was, 8 or 10 months later, Sandra jumped in the boat. Boy, has it been great for 2 years and 2 months and 3 days. But who's counting? All right, see you, bye.
I'm going to make this quick. You said you wanted to get away from her, then chose the only path in your home that resulted in you getting closer to her. You got past her, leaving nothing between you and the door that you said you wanted to exit. Despite this, you stop, face her, and push her out of what you claim was self-defense and to protect your property. There's nothing between you and that door, Kent. You are in no danger at all. Like a HIPAA all-star, you dox her mental condition. And not unlike a lunatic that can't keep track of reality for more than 5 minutes, you then give 2 different accounts of what happened.
She jumped for my phone and fell down. Okay, I was protecting my property is all I was doing. I simply stepped, pushed her to the side. She hit this shelf right here.
You're full of shit, Dr. Dino, and I can see your gross-ass toe through your shoe. Get yourself together.
The moral grandstanding at the end there. So, tax cheats, wife beaters, and people that let convicted child molesters share a cabin with 11-year-old boys at their park don't get to morally grandstand.
I knew he'd do that, Don. He can't do anything else.
Why would he have to do anything else? That is going to do it for this one. As a thanks to all of you people for ignoring your survival instincts and getting in my van, I will be using real human artists whenever possible moving forward. Considering humans are what this community is mostly made of, I plan to keep them heavily involved. I want to thank Gloom Inc. on Fiverr for the new van. He absolutely crushed my expectations. Kudos to Planet Peterson for holding up a mirror to Kent before starting their debate. His channel is linked in the description below. And now, get the hell out of my van.